We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today, News Channel 5's Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams, talking about the things he's been working on up on Capitol Hill the last couple of weeks. Phil, another story that they've done in recent years is about the legislative process and perhaps how it's being subverted through the use of what's called a caption bill. What is a caption bill?
A caption bill, there's a bit of a civics lesson here. There is a portion of the Tennessee Constitution that says no bill can be passed where the caption does not say what the bill is about.
Can't be broader than this caption either.
Cannot be broader than the caption. And so what happens is lawmakers will file these bills that say, an act to amend titles, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which tells you nothing. And when you call up the bills as filed, there's almost nothing there. It may have one line that changes a comma to a period or something.
So as a reporter, if it's something you think you almost have to go to every meeting and see, well, when's it going to come up on the agenda and what the heck's the bill about?
That's right. So you don't really know what those caption bills are intended to do. In fact, the sponsors may not know when they're filed how they might be used. It's not until you get into committee and see the amendment that, quote, makes the bill, you'll hear them say that a lot, that you know what it does. And that amendment is not even posted online, even though it's drafted in advance. It's not even posted online for the public to see until after it's adopted in committee.
Now, this whole thing, to continue that civics lessons, is it fair to say there's probably a caption bill for almost every piece of Tennessee Code Annotated, every section of Tennessee Code Annotated, in case they need it? Because the administration in some cases has these bills ready in case they need it, because something may come up during the session, it's past the time to file bills, they may have to use a caption bill, find one, and then find a sponsor to put something, take care of something that otherwise they wouldn't be able to handle because they can't introduce any new bills.
I think certainly there's a caption bill for anything that possibly could come up. I mean, for example, the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker of the House currently have a caption bill for ethics reform. It's been just sort of sitting in a drawer.
You have some things to suggest.
It's been sitting in a drawer. I'm told it may come out next week. We don't know what they intend to do with it. But, again, that's a classic example of, the public is kept in the dark until the very last minute.
Obviously, there'd be resistance to changing that, but has there ever been a thought about maybe having some kind of you put in your amendment and there's an automatic deferral in committee, at least for one meeting, so people have a chance, including the members on the committee, to study what the heck the amendment is. And now that would give the other side, if there are other sides, or at least the public, a chance to know what's going on. They may not like that, but right now it seems like it's almost like a sneak attack.
It is a sneak attack, and here's the thing. The leadership could change this probably, immediately if they wanted to. But, as we've seen with the influence of money on Capitol Hill, it's often not in the interest of those in power to enact these sorts of reforms because they use these loopholes to their advantage.
Now, there's also a question about just how much lawmakers depend on lobbyists. There was a situation this week involving short-term rental bills that the lobbyists got up and made a statement in the subcommittee that turned out to be completely wrong about what was going on in Nashville about short-term rentals. Does this pretty much show that lobbyists pretty much rule the roost up there and lawmakers don't always check out what they tell them?
Yeah, in this case it was the sponsor, and one presumes he got his information from the lobbyist. But yeah, I mean, it's been stunning to watch some of these bills this session, and because I spend a lot of time prepping for these meetings and analyzing what legislation actually does, and then you hear the sponsors present. In fact, we've got an upcoming story on this very issue. The sponsor, the members on the committee will say one thing, and I'm looking at the amendment going, that is not what this says. But they are so
they
dependent.
got the amendment, they didn't get the talking points.
Exactly. And so they are so dependent upon these special interest lobbyists to even tell them what it is they're voting on frequently that, it's just sort of amazing how the sausage gets made.
Now, there's a continuing number of lawmakers that retire every year, especially this year when it's a re-election year. but there's been a number of scandals involved this year, particularly for not being an overarching one at this point. I mean, you had two senators, both from Memphis. One, Brian Kelsey, he's decided not to seek re-election, although he's facing some federal charges over some campaign financing irregularities. You've had Katrina Robinson, a Memphis senator, who is convicted on federal charges for a different kind of wire fraud case. She didn't want to get. She's the first time anybody's ever been kicked out of the Senate by the Senate itself. And then you've got this what's going on with Robin Smith when she left. That's not a whole. 3 people out of like 132 members of the legislature doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's a pretty. That doesn't have a very good look for those who are still in the legislature, maybe trying to do a good job.
That's right. And here's the implication for the future: the Robin Smith investigation, by all appearances, is just going to be the first domino to fall. There is a lot of concern up on Capitol Hill about who might be implicated and how the dominoes could keep falling. That's going to be something we're going to be watching very closely in the weeks and months ahead.
As we wrap up this interview, what have you got coming up next that you can talk a little bit about? And then when do you think this is going to happen, the next couple of weeks or the next few days?
We've got a story that we're working on right now that will delve more deeply into this issue of, do lawmakers even know what they're voting on? Honestly, when I started this investigation, I had probably a dozen, 2 dozen story ideas. That list has doubled in the 4 months that I've been working on this investigation.
Does it also make your phone ring? People with tips?
It does, thankfully, and we have a tip line, investigate@newschannel5.com. If people want to give us more material, we would love to receive it.
Phil Williams, thank you so much for thank you for the work that you do for this station, for the viewers, and for the public as well. You do a great job.
Great, thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you for joining us on Inside Politics. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, you can go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you here next time. Goodbye.